Hey, it's the Midnight Raven, and today we're doing another list challenge. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm the Midnight Raven. I've started doing these to bring a little bit of extra content to my channel on a variety of topics, including food, places, travel, music, movies, etc. If you haven't checked out list challenges, I highly implore you to do it. It's just a bit of fun, and you never know, you might enjoy it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a list today of the 100 popular toys from the 1980s. And why are we doing popular toys from the 1980s? Because I was actually born in 1984. I know I look really young, but I'm actually 38 years old, or 38 years young, however you want to put it. So let's get into this list. So we're looking at 100 toys from the 80s. And we're going to tick the ones that I have heard of, or the toys that I owned. And as we go down the list, I'll explain more. So here we have the list. We're going for 100, and as you can see, currently 0 out of 100. So let's get into this video before we drone on for too long. So I never had a Cabbage Patch doll. They never really interested me. I wasn't really a doll girl. And I never had a Care Bear. Care Bears didn't really interest me. Again, it's that cutesy girly stuff that just didn't kind of pique my interest. I was more a tomboy. Fluffy dogs, I've never even heard of them. I must have missed an entire area of cutesy stuff, because I never had any of them. I did have a glowworm though. I absolutely loved my little glowworm. Used to take it to bed every evening with me. I know. Hot look dolls. No, I did have a Masters of the Universe He-Man. My dad was trying to go with the whole tomboy thing, and I got a He-Man doll and a Skeletor doll, and I was so excited. They were more my thing, and they used to just have them on the side in my room as just like statues or figures, if you want to call it. Never had Micro Machines, and never really was into toy cars. I never had a My Child's doll because honestly, I find dolls creepy. Never had a My Little Pony. Wasn't my thing. Just that whole cutesy girl thing. It did have a pogo balls. I do remember my nan buying one of these and having a bunch of fun in the garden. And honestly, it's one of those things you could break your neck on. Poplies, never had one of them. Pound puppies, again, they're the cute. I mean, pound puppies aren't really cutesy girly stuff. But I just didn't go into that kind of stuff. Rainbow Bright, again, really wasn't into dolls. The roller racers, I had roller skates and all that, but no, nothing like this. She-Ra, Princess of Power, never had a She-Ra doll. That would have probably been more my thing. It was still cutesy girl stuff though, unfortunately. Smooshies, never had smooshies. Some of these toys have like gone straight over my head because they just weren't my thing. I just didn't go for the girly cutesy-esque. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Star Wars toys. I actually had a Millennium Falcon. Actual Millennium Falcon. My dad bought it from a charity shop and came home with it because I used to play a Star Wars game on, I think it was the Nintendo 64. And he just came home with this Millennium Falcon from a charity shop one day. And I had it for absolutely ages. Again, it was just on the side. Didn't play with it or anything. I weren't really into playing with stuff. I was more like the aesthetics and just having it in my room. Didn't go in for Strawberry Shortcake. Did definitely not go for a Teddy Ruxpin. I thought he was creepy. Anyone else think Teddy Ruxpin is creepy, or is that just me? And I never had a Wurzels because, again, it was just cutesy stuff. Let me know down below if you've had any of these as well. Do share your childhood with me. G.I. Joe toy. No, never had G.I. Joe. Never had Transformers. Never had fashion plates. I didn't have a Speak and Spell. I think the only childhood toy I might have had that spoke to me was a leap pad. Back in the day, again, not mine. I did have a spirograph. My nan was very traditional when it came to toys. She liked the old school toys. Even now, she would buy my grandchildren, or she would buy my children a spirograph for Christmas, or nieces and nephews. She's very old school. I never had a Light Bright, although Light Bright has been redone now and revamped. You can get a Light Bright nowadays that's really different. I did have an Etch-a-Sketch, the fun we used to have trying to make rude stuff on that. Many a day spent trying to be rude. Never had a Barbie. Again, same. Never had dolls. Easy bake oven. No, I don't think my nan wanted us to have third-degree burns, because these easy bake ovens back in the day were quite dangerous. I never had a Polly Pocket. My sisters did. They were obsessed with like Polly Pocket. Just wasn't me. Never had a Doodle Bear. Although if it had been like, nah, I don't know. Doodle Bears were kind of cool. You know, draw on the bear and then you put it in the wash machine and it washes off. Creepy crawlers. Never had them either. Never even had a creepy crawlers. Some of these things just went right over my head because I spent a lot of my time in my childhood not indoors, like playing with toys. Never had Doll Maker. Never had Quince. Little Miss Singing Mermaid. No. I used to have one of the hairdressing heads because my dad was hoping to teach me how to become a hairdresser. And I used to like cut the hair and we'd dye it and stuff, but nothing like this. Although the hair was quite like this. Sweet Secrets again. Too many dolls on this list. Puppy Surprise. Never had one of them. A Viewfinder. No, we never had one of them either. It was interesting, but no. I had an Atari. Used to play Pong on it. Oh, the good old days of Pong. If you hadn't played Pong as an 80s child, you have not lived. Wrinkles. Never had a Wrinkles. I think Wrinkles was an elephant. I think it was an elephant. Okay, moving on down to the list because we have 100 to get through. WizKid. I never had a WizKid. I probably should have had a WizKid. I mean, why didn't I? It looks super cool. I did have a Simon Says. Again, childhood. My nan, she always used to get these things like Simon Says, Space Invaders, and all that kind of old school. I had a Skip It. I had a blue one. And I used to spend hours just skipping it. What you do is you put this little hoop around your leg and you skip with it. And people classed it as highly dangerous because people would fall over. A Precious Place. Again, never had dolls' houses or anything like that. The only doll's house I actually played with was my nan's one. And that was a proper old Victorian doll's house. And I'm not just talking a kid's dollhouse. I'm talking like a collectible dollhouse. That was the only one I ever played in. Finders Keepers. Never had a Finders Keepers. Never had a Baby Furskin because, I mean, look at that. That's the stuff of nightmares. I never had a My Buddy. My Buddy is just like a Chucky doll. It's just creepy. A base plate. I did have Lego. I did have a sprinkling of Lego. I didn't have a huge amount. Again, I was more outdoors, down the park, climbing on woodsheds and going into wood yards that we probably shouldn't have been in. We did a lot of illegal stuff back then. Army men. Didn't have any army men. Never played with cap guns, although they look cool. Fisher Price Little Men. No, not my kind of thing. I did have a Game Boy, though. I did like my consoles. My Nintendo 64, my Atari, my Game Boy. I did like things like that. I also loved playing board games. We might have to do a board game list as well. Let me know if you want to see that. Lincoln Logs. Never did Lincoln Logs. Although it looks really cool. I'd love to make a little log cabin like that. It did have the little Professor Calculate. I had one of them probably right up until I was in high school. It was an amazing little machine. Mr. Microphone. Probably should have had that. I do like singing, but no. I didn't own a Mr. Potato Head. My sisters did. And I used to play with their one. Rock'em Sock'em. I wish I had one of them because that looks fun. But no. Slip and Slide. No, wasn't our type of thing. If we were out in the garden, the girls were just, my sisters were just sunbathing. Never had Smurfs. Although I do love the Smurfs. Snorks. They always make me laugh. The little straw-like thing on their head. But no, again, just no. Trackball, no. I just couldn't get the hang of it. I'd seen adverts for it when I was younger, and it, no. A See and Say, I did actually have one of these. This would be from my older nan. And we used to spend hours just turning that wheel, and it would say what you see, and Happy Meal toys. I've had Happy Meal toys. Obviously, I actually do have some Wombles that came out of Happy Meals. Talking telephone. The only talking telephone I had used to be like an old ring phone, like the little ring one with the rotary wheel on the front. Paper dolls, again, no, weren't into the whole doll thing. Tinker Toys, never had Tinker Toys. I had things like Lego, Stickle Bricks, that kind of thing. Here it is, the Chatterphone. That was what I was talking about. I had one of them when I was right tiny. They were quite cool. Mad Balls, I never had anything like that because they're terrifying, really, aren't they? Armatron, never had one of them. Never had a Puffalump. Again, I weren't really into like cuddlies or anything like that. Didn't have a Hot Wheels. Again, weren't really into cars. A Little People's Family Schoolhouse. The only thing I had that was school-like was like a chalkboard, and I think most kids have chalkboards. Tonka trucks. Never had a Tonka truck. A marching band set. Now, I did have a triangle. Does that count? We'll count that. I did have a triangle. I had a triangle like ting, ting, ting. And at some point, my sister had drums like this, one of these little drums. I had like a triangle, and I think Fiona had a tambourine at one point. Playmobil, never did Playmobil. Again, I was more of a Lego girl. Power Wheels Jeep, no, my parents couldn't afford stuff like that. Again, Baby Grows doll, wasn't into the whole doll thing. Didn't have a cricket doll either. Play School kitchen, we didn't have a kitchen, a play school one. We did have the cleaning set, you get the brush, the broom, the little trolley cleaning set, but we didn't have a play kitchen. And I didn't have a convertible pink car either, which is a shame because every kid needs a convertible pink car. Okay, moving on. A bubble mower. Now, this would have been so cool. Never had a bubble mower. I want one now. A Boglins. Now, I've seen these in charity shops before, and they look terrifying. I don't know what it does. Is it just a head? Let me know because it looks creepy. Fisher-Price roller skates. The only roller skates I had were inline skates, and even they were horrendous to use, and that wasn't until I was much, much older. A Fisher-Price cash register. No, didn't have one of them. It looks like hours of fun though, doesn't it? A Fisher-Price tape recorder. Don't think I had one of them. I had like a CD Walkman and a Discman and a boombox, but never one of these, although they do look cool. A Fisher-Price farm. Again, my parents couldn't afford the fancier toys. The Price Garage, never had anything like that, or the Fisher Price Lift and Load. Couldn't afford the really expensive things, and Fisher Price was not cheap. Poppers, I think, did we have Poppers? I can't remember, so I'm not going to put it on there. We did have a corn pop. All three of us had one of these, and it was to encourage you to learn to stand and walk. Moon boots or moon shoes, we didn't have them. We had stuff like pogo sticks. I think we even had stilts at one point. They were quite funny. Sesame Street toys. I wasn't really into Sesame Street. Pillow Pals, again, wasn't my type of thing. Sticky hand toy. That's where you get the sticky hand toy and throw it at the wall and it falls down. My boys had them, but I didn't. Ring toss. Ring toss was cool. This was like an aqua water game. You had these two buttons and you'd press it and it'd shoot these little rings up, and you'd have to try and get them to stand on the thing. That was actually that was hours of fun. Next, we have the Heart family. Again, didn't go for dolls. Oopsie Daisy doll. Again, no. Fisher Price medical kit. I think every person in the universe has had a medical kit or a doctor's kit bought for them as a child. I think that's just common. I did have wrestling figures. I did have a Hulk Hogan action figure / toy, however you want to put it. I had a Hulk Hogan one. I didn't have a ring or anything. It was just the actual doll. And I did have letter and number blocks as a child. I had aspirations of being something greater than what I am. And then you come down here after you've done all 100 and you click the list, and it tells you that I had 21 out of 100. You did better than 48% of users. Your rank is 79,242, so not very high. And the average was 36. So what that tells me is I lived a very sheltered life as a child and didn't get out. And I actually got out more than I did staying in. But if you want to like, subscribe, and give us a big thumbs up, comment down below your favorite childhood toys. Did they feature in this list? And if they didn't, what was your favorite childhood toy? Mine would have probably been, my favorite childhood toy would have probably have been when I used to play with stickle bricks. Or when I used to play on my Nintendo 64. I used to spend a lot of time playing that. And I used to spend a lot of time playing my little organ I had, kind of keyboard organ / So if you want to help the channel out, a PayPal, super chat, or a super thanks, all goes back into my channel. Share all your opinions and comments in the chat. Give it a big thumbs up. It's free. And I will see you soon for another video. Take care and thanks for watching. Bye, guys.